What's going on, all my fantasy football fans out there? Welcome to my channel. It's Waiver Today, I want to talk to all of my newbies, all of you people out there who love fantasy football and you are just getting started. This is your first time around. You are a beginner, and I'm going to get you right. Just give you a few tips on, what to do and what type of leagues to look for and how to, get ready for a season and get ready to win. What's more, there's nothing wrong with winning in the first year, right? Because that's what we do out here is win. All right, so the first thing you want to consider is obviously you need to figure out a league you want to join. Are you going to do a free league, money league? I recommend starting out with a free league, and then you want to consider if you're going to do like a redraft, which would be a league that you're gonna you don't keep your team, you'll draft every year. You can look at a keeper league. Commissioner will determine how many players you may keep with you. And then a dynasty league, where pretty much you're gonna keep your whole entire team once you draft that team. So I recommend when you first get started to just try a free redraft league. But if you're feeling bold, go on out there and try a money league. But nonetheless, here are a few more tips that you really need to consider. You obviously are going to want to consider the format of the league and figure out which one is going to be best for you. So if you want to be in a PPR league, that is points per reception. So anytime, say, quarterback throws to wide receiver, running back, tight end, throwing anybody, you're going to get a half point, or it can be a full point. It just really depends on the setup of the league, or if they want to award more points, there you go. Or standard, where you're not awarded any points for receiving a catch from your quarterback or anyone. And I prefer PPR. I just really prefer the PPR. That's my preference. But you need to figure that out. And I would say another important thing to consider is whether you trust the commissioner. Sometimes you may not get along with a person, and that's fine, and that may cause some issues, and it may not. But I recommend, especially if you're going to do if you're going to join a money league, to kind of know who you're going to be giving your money to. But as a beginner, we're going to take it slow, and we're going to just do a free redraft league, right? That's what we're going to do here. Now, another thing you want to consider is the platform. Like, are you comfortable playing on a particular platform? Do you want to play on, say, Yahoo, ESPN, Sleeper, NFL, CBS? There's so many different platforms out there, and you're going to want to be comfortable with using that platform. So you may want to talk to the commissioner before you just dive in there and join. Ask those questions like, what is the scoring format? What platform do you use? How many teams are in the league? Ask these questions, so then you can make the best decision for you, because this is your first time and you don't want to get out there and lose every game. I'm telling you, my first time, it was rough, but you know what? You got to start from somewhere. All right, so once you have figured out the right league for you, and you determine that, hey, I want to join a PPR 10-team league, and we're going to say you guys used Yahoo. Nothing wrong with it. Yahoo's a solid platform. So now what you really want to consider is developing your draft strategy. Got to kind of think of, what am I going to do in this draft? How am I going to, pick my players? A lot of times these leagues will randomize the draft randomize the order of the draft an hour before the draft, maybe 30 minutes before it. It really depends on the commissioner. So if you don't really know, where you're picking, you're going to want to go and do research and kind of know the player. So you're doing a PPR, you're going to want to know what's a good PPR running back. If you get the first pick in the draft, you definitely want to consider the top running back. Obviously, that's definitely a good strategy. So what you do is you create yourself a board. Running backs, you're going to look to target. Quarterbacks, you're going to create your board. Quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, players, just group them off by a position, okay, and rank them. And then you're going to want to do mock drafts, several mock drafts, and kind of just play around with it. If you don't know your draft position, do mock drafts for every position. So say you're in a 10-team league, do mock drafts, drafting from every spot, just kind of seeing the difference in what players are available at a certain pick. Early on in the draft, if you get the first or second pick, you want to take the top running back, okay? Because by the time I get back around, if it's going to most likely be a snake draft, you're not going to have any of those top guys. And I love to secure one of the top running backs if I'm drafting early on. I don't want to reach for a quarterback, because you can get a really good quarterback later on in the draft. You don't have to have Patrick Mahomes. Now, if it's a super flex, then maybe you want to consider that. But for purposes of you being a beginner, you're going to be in a PPR 10-team league, and it's a redraft, and you're going to look at Christian McCaffrey if you have the number one, Christian McCaffrey or Dalvin Cook if you got the number one pick. And most likely you're going to say, well, I'm going to just go with Christian McCaffrey because he is the best running back in PPR leagues. So you got to consider those different things. So again, you don't know where you're drafted, do several mocks, and don't just do 10 mocks, do 20, do 30, do so many mocks, because the mocks are addictive and fun anyways, so why not? So do several different mocks and come up with different strategies, okay? Maybe you want to pair a quarterback with one of their top wide receivers. So say maybe you want to pair Mike Evans with Tom Brady. That's an option. Evans is a really good wide receiver. You don't have to draft him in the first or second round, and you can pair him with Tom Brady, which is still a really good duo to have as a building block of your full roster. So you got to think about things like that. Definitely early on, get you a really good running back, and then you got to decide, do I want to go with 2 running backs the first 2 rounds, or do I want to go running back, wide receiver? But you got to continue to do those mocks to test different strategies. But early on in the draft, if you got the number one between 1 and 4, grab you one of those top running backs, okay? Grab them, okay? Best thing you can do if you get one of the top picks early on, okay? And just got to do what you got to do. And again, before you go into your actual draft, make sure you have a list of the players that you are targeting. Do not go into your draft not knowing what players you're going to consider drafting, and be comfortable with that platform as well. So you're doing a lot of mocks, so you're getting comfortable with the actual drafting, the draft room for that platform, because you don't want to go in and not know what to do, and you're just looking lost, and you end up picking the wrong player or doing the wrong thing or running out of time. So consider all of that. And again, develop your draft strategy, and that can be early on in the draft. You're going to take one of the top running backs. Do you want to pair a wide receiver with their quarterback? Do you want to take, like, say you think a certain offense is, say for instance, Green Bay, you feel like that offense is going to be really potent this year, and maybe you want to pair Devontae with Aaron Rodgers and try to squeeze in Aaron Jones. Some people like to do that, where they go for, well, I'm going to go grab the quarterback, running back, wide receiver for potent offense. Then you got to make sure that you realize that all 3 of those guys are going to be out the same week. So you got to make sure you have a plan for that as well. So many things to consider in this PPR redraft. And you got to realize that this is it. You got to go all out, because this is redraft. You're not going to get another chance to draft your team again. So consider the different strategies that you are going to use. Early on, a running back. Grab you a running back. That's the way to go. Okay? Some other things to consider is, once you get into that draft, create yourself a queue where you can put players in there that you are targeting. I recommend putting them in based on where you think you would pick them, because say for instance something crazy happens, like your internet go out, power outage, anything is possible in fantasy football. I've had drafts to where I kept getting kicked out because you know, I want to say maybe so many people were drafting. So consider that. Set up players in your queue based on where you would draft them at, and have that ready. Don't wait till the last minute to get into the draft. Get in there early. Know how much time you have to select players, and get ready to have fun drafting. And stick to your guns. Like, sometimes you may jump up and get your guy if you feel like, hey, he's not going to be there once the draft comes back around to me. Okay, but don't be reaching. Like, don't be drafting a player. Like, right now, Michael Thomas is a player that I still see drafted in the second and third rounds. Right now, considering everything that's going on with him, do not know when he's going to play. So I would not be reaching for him in the second round, because we don't know when he's going to play. So I'm looking for somebody who I can use week 1. And that's the kind of things you got to consider. Look at ADP, and that is average draft position. Check that out and see where these players are being drafted. Just be ready, be smart, don't reach, but at the same time, know what the person in front of you and behind you are doing, and see, like, okay, can I take this chance right now? Like, say you have pick 9, there's 10 teams, and you're at 9, and you're like, well, say I need to grab my running back, and you look at team 10, because you know it's going to come right back around, but you see, say, a quarterback you really want, or you really know you need to pick up. Look at team 10 to see, okay, do you feel they're going to take that running back by the time it get back to you? So that's 2 picks. Look at what they've been doing. Look at their roster. And if you can get away with getting your quarterback and then coming back around, do it. If you notice they don't have a quarterback and you're looking at a certain quarterback, they may be looking at your quarterback. So kind of look at the players on their roster, but understand that some people just draft players. They don't draft players and draft them based on, well, I want to pair a wide receiver and a quarterback up. But the goal is to kind of determine what you think this person after you is going to do, especially if you're picking 9 and they're picking 10. Chances are they may snatch up the guy you want. So kind of take that into consideration when you are drafting, okay? So again, you enjoyed yourself having your first draft, got your team ready. So what I normally recommend after the draft is go on and look and see what players are free agents. That will be those players who wasn't drafted, and consider creating yourself a watch list of players you feel have potential, players you think may be sleepers. And you know, when you hit that like button, you'll get to see more videos like this on sleepers, which will help you throughout the season. So check for sleepers, add them to your watch list, and make sure you keep checking your watch list periodically throughout the season, whether you have to move people out, add more people. The watch list is important because you're going to work the wire as well. You're not done once you draft, because you may project that someone is going to do good and they may end up hurt, or they may not end up playing well, and you may want to, you know, like pick up their backup, you know, just in case. Like, say, for instance, Saquon isn't playing early on to start the season, you know. In redraft, you really don't have to consider grabbing his backup, but if, say, you were in a dynasty league, you would possibly want to look at who's going to be his backup. Is it Corey Clement, or is it Booker? You got to make that decision. But in redraft, the goal is to draft so well that you don't need to look at these backups unless you see something going on, and that's when you know, okay, I need to pick up this guy's backup. But you already know in advance, because you already have your watch list and you're constantly checking the news. You're in the loop. You know what's going on at all times. Fantasy football, you need to know what's going on at all times in order to win, because you want to stay ahead of the game. You don't want to react. We're actors, okay? We act, okay? We don't wait and react to what's going on, because everything that we do, we are already aware of, and we do it before it happens. So what I mean by this is, we don't wait until a player who's on the wire has 200 yards rushing, you know, 2-3 times in a row. we look at that, we observe, we notice that this player is trending in the right direction. He's trending up. So we've already made our move to add that player to our roster, and we're not competing with 9 other teams to pick up this player. It's like, okay, I got that person on my team. Boom. And you move on. Always act. Don't react. Stay ahead of your competition, okay? Don't be the last one to know what's going on. Be the first one to know what's going on. Be the one to set the bar to make everybody have to step their game up, okay? That's what we do out here, all right? Always check your lineups. Check your lineups. Constantly check your lineups, because anything can happen. You may think a guy is playing today, and then game start, he wasn't playing. So always check your lineups early. Constantly check your lineups. If you have a Monday game and you're like, okay, this is not looking good, get that player out the lineup and get someone else in there who's going to be able to potentially give you points, because you don't know what's going to happen with this player. They may give you some points. That's if they play. But what happens if they don't play? Now you don't have points, and it's Monday, so there's not a lot of options available to you in free agency. So if it's a player who's looking like they may not play on Monday, don't gamble with it, because that could be the difference between you winning and losing that week. Okay, and again, recheck your lineups. Thursday, you got Monday games, Thursday games, Sunday games. Constantly recheck your lineups. Prepare to lose sleep. Hit that like button, y'all, because you're going to lose sleep, because it's competitive, it's fun, and you're constantly, want to make sure your team is the best, all right? Keep current with all the latest news in sports. Know what's going on in the NFL, because that will help you with your team throughout the season. You'll know that so-and-so is not playing. So-and-so, example, is suspended, so you need to look in another direction. This player is injured. Somebody else is started. Maybe consider picking them up. Just know what's going on and make sure you are continuously working the wire, okay? Call me Waiver Wire Queen. You work the wire, guys. We work that wire. Oh, I think that's a song. Hit that like button, y'all, because I'm doing it today. And do not second guess yourself when you're picking players off the wire, because when you do that, you end up missing out. We don't sleep on the sleepers. If this is a sleeper and this player is trending up in the right direction, what do? We act. We act and we make our move quickly, okay? You wait, go and check again, the player is gone. So always get out there and act quickly. Don't be the last one. You snooze, you lose, okay? Don't sleep, y'all, okay? And be active and make trades when necessary. Don't make trades just for the hell of it. Make trades that make sense to you, and it's going to position your team to win, okay? And plan to lose sleep, y'all. All right, y'all hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this, and leave some comments and let me know if you are ready for fantasy football. Peace.